that there was a reason for that inconsistency, which he's maintaining, is that there was a threat. He used the word threat. He said he was intimidated. He used that during the session. Just now he stopped the judge once after the judge had some satisfactory answers from him. Said, "Judge, may I say something?" Judge says yes, and he says, "Actually, after you said I had a direct line to you, that's when I dared to say the truth. So far, I made up a story in my panic and my fear." He used the word fear in his first police investigation. There was one very candid commenter on YouTube yesterday who was like, "It's so hard to listen to you. You keep apologizing for everything." Well, I have to. I don't want to be inconsistent, and I want to be as accurate as possible, obviously, because this is a serious matter. Hi there, guys. This is Zephyr, and I'm speaking to you from the state courts today. I just wanted to make a quick video here to give you an update on the Iris Coh and Jipson Quah trial with one of the witnesses, Mr. Lim, Mr. Cedric Lim. We're now at lunch break, but I just wanted to give a quick update of what's happening here today. We're not allowed to reach in terms of meaning for what we report. But I'd just like to tell you exactly what happened in the morning's proceedings. So based on what the witness said on Friday, what I heard was they were not able to get the police and the Ministry of Health over today. They might be present tomorrow. They might not be. We shall see. But right now what's happened is, earlier in the morning, Mr. Chong, I believe, the prosecution, said that he was trying to clarify certain things with Mr. Lim to confirm that there were indeed inconsistencies between some of his older statements and his testimony in court. So once they had confirmed that with a little bit of back and forth, where Mr. Lim was explaining why he didn't dare to change the record or amend it, which he also referred to several times on Friday, explaining that he was a little bit scared. I'm going to quote some of his words directly so there's no misrepresentation here. Prosecution asked if the statement was read back to him. Mr. Cedric Lim said it wasn't read back to him, but he was given a chance to read through. And Cedric said, "I did get a chance to read, but because there was a threat, then I just signed." And I'm quoting his English directly, so pardon the grammar. Finally, when the judge and the prosecution were trying to summarize and basically get Mr. Cedric Lim to confirm that he was the maker of the statements submitted earlier, even though he claimed that some of them were inaccurate, they just wanted to confirm that. And so they managed to, by explaining to him what that meant, basically meant that the statement, for whatever reasons Mr. Cedric had, was made by him, and so they were referring to him as the maker of the statement. He then asked Mr. Lim for his confirmation. Mr. Lim confirmed, and then the prosecutors and I believe the other prosecutors confirmed, and then they proceeded on, after a while, to a cross-examination. During the cross-examination, which has just started and then we broke for lunch actually, they were trying to get him to confirm that the statements, some of them were not congruent, they were not identical to the testimony in court. The testimony in court and the statements provided earlier need to be identical, because otherwise the prosecution can, explained in a very layman way by the judge himself, as he was explaining to Mr. Cedric what that would mean, is that the prosecution would try to say they would hope that the judge would not believe some or all of Mr. Cedric Lim's words in court. And the second one is to impeach him. And so basically the judge kept on repeating the words serious and material inconsistencies, although in a very kind and nice tone to Mr. Lim so he would understand it. So he said, "I've granted the prosecution's request for a cross-examination." The judge explained in depth and clearly the process. Then the cross-examination started. Basically, the first point, Mr. Cedric Lim saying that when he went to visit Dr. Quah did not ask him anything. That was one of his statements. And another one of his statements, he said, "He asked me what Iris had told me." Basically, that was the start of the sentence, with Mr. Cedric saying the main part of the sentence was that he told Dr. Quah that Iris told him that the doctor could adjust the dosage of the vaccine based on his body weight. And in a CNA article on Thursday, I believe, on the 28th, it was explained there a little bit more, saying that just like how you would give a child a much smaller dosage of a vaccine, for example. And so the only thing that was inconsistent in those two statements was that at the start, when one of the statements in the testimony in court, I believe Mr. Cedric said that, "No, Dr. Quah did not ask me anything about Iris upon entering the room." And in his earlier statement, he had said, "Dr. Quah asked me, so what did Iris tell you?" And he said, "I said that Iris said that you could adjust the blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that the prosecution has their own angle about why they want to cover this inconsistency. Although in the moment it can seem seemingly trivial, to me at least it did at the start, until I understood that maybe there's a deeper context here where does it really matter if he starts off the sentence with Dr. Quah asked and then I said blah blah blah, or just I walked in and I said blah blah blah. So it's, yeah, that's the thing. And then they brought up more inconsistencies about whether Iris communicated with him the day before her arrest or she didn't. And then they went into some details about call logs and chat logs. And towards the end, before the lunch break, Mr. Cedric revealed that when he said chat logs, he didn't mean messages. He meant a chat on the phone, and he meant call logs actually, not chat logs. And they were all, three of them were going back and forth about whether call logs and chat logs can be deleted from Telegram or they can't. They were cooperating together, the three of them, the judge, the prosecution, and the witness, to figure out whether he deleted them, didn't delete them, whether he could remember whether he deleted them, whether there's such a function, and so on and so forth. So now we're going to resume after lunch. It's 2:11 p.m. We're going to go from 2:30. So I'll try to come back with more updates at the end of the day. As some of you may know, I am a YouTuber and a content creator, and I use these tools to add on to my own suite of spiritual life coaching and other entrepreneurial coaching services. Previously, I used to teach drums, but my point being that I'm new to reporting this kind of case, and it's my first time, so a little support goes a long way. And if you'd like to give me some tips as to where to improve, you could do that. There was one very candid commenter on YouTube yesterday who was like, "It's so hard to listen to you. You keep apologizing for everything." Well, I have to. I don't want to be inconsistent, and I want to be as accurate as possible, obviously, because this is a serious matter. And it's serious, although everybody here seems in a reasonably lighthearted mood, given the number of charges against them. And I'm talking about the accused over here, and also the witness, and everybody, including the judge, seems very cooperative. What I'm trying to say is, although that's happening, we shouldn't treat this lightly. So I'm doing my best to make it as accurate as possible. I'm happy to amend anything or say it in the next video if there was any inconsistencies in the previous one. If you guys would like to hear any particular angles or hear from maybe the witness or some of the accused people, if you'd like to hear from them as well, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to do a quick video with them as well to see what they think of the proceedings for the day. All right, guys, I'm back after the session that was after the lunch break. And so what happened here is the prosecution and the judge went further and further, listing down every single inconsistency in the evidence between the earlier statements to the police and the MOH team, which, by the way, the witness keeps saying sounded like they were police officers, or they made it such. They made their demeanor and even their answer was like sort of. He said the word sort of, that a guy called Brian, who was one of those investigating officers from the MOH team, or I'm just using the word investigating officer. It's unclear at this point who they are and what they are, but that there were many inconsistencies between those statements, the ones to the police and the MOH, and his testimony in court. And Mr. Cedric Lim has agreed that yes, they were inconsistent. Every single question that the prosecution asked if it was inconsistent, he said yes, it was inconsistent, but that there was a reason for that inconsistency, which he's maintaining, is that there was a threat. He used the word threat. He said he was intimidated. He used that during the session. Just now he stopped the judge once after the judge had some satisfactory answers from him. Said, "Judge, may I say something?" Judge says yes, and he says, "Actually, after you said I had a direct line to you, that's when I dared to say the truth. So far, I made up a story in my panic and my fear." He used the word fear in his first police investigation. And for the other two, because the prosecution did refer to three individual statements altogether, saying those three are all the same for certain points and facts, but then the court testimony is different. And he said, yes, because I said something inaccurate the first time around because the police didn't believe me when I said the other answer. And so due to intimidation and my own fear, I went with the answer which I thought they wanted to hear. And then they did indeed move on with whatever they wanted to say next, giving me the impression that that's what they wanted to hear. And then for the other two sort of statements after that on separate investigations, I just stuck with that story. And the judge did ask a couple of times if in the subsequent investigations after the first, if the police officers were professional and so on. And then when he said yes to some of those, the judge did ask, then why didn't you change the story then, tell the truth then? And he said, I was still scared and I was still fearful, and that's the truth. And now I'm telling you the full truth. So let me head back. There was a quick break, and let me report back after that. Thanks so much for watching.